Cheers, boys.
Cheers, fellers.
Oh, okay.
Wow, I look like the punk in that one. Welcome, everybody.
Yo, what's going on? How we doing?
Episode of the Bourbon Boys.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. We're just gonna let everyone know right now you can finally shut up, and we're tired of your talks about saying we don't have bourbon anymore because we brought Papa Bourbon himself.
The Bourbon Man.
Yeah, the Bourbon Man himself.
J.K. Tucker.
Yes,
Hey,
sir.
man, thanks for coming on.
Hey, I appreciate it. Absolutely. Thanks for
We
being
appreciate it, man.
Very happy to have you on. This is exciting. Very exciting. Very first bourbon try for the Bourbon Boys.
Man, so tell us a little about yourself.
So, I mean, I haven't seen you guys since high school, so sorry if it's turned into like a high school reunion type deal.
That's what it is.
Yeah, but so since then, I've been all over the place. I joined the military. I moved to Colorado before I joined the military for a little bit. Lived out there for a while. Lived in Terre Haute. I currently live in Martinsville. Of course, I lived in Edinburgh when I was going to Franklin.
Did you really?
Yeah, I
wasn't
did. It was a
aware of that.
30-minute drive to school
Yeah,
every
that's
morning,
what?
man.
No
Yeah,
idea.
Crazy. I
So
know.
sorry.
I know, man. I know. There's not a whole lot of cool things about me. Coolest thing about me is I'm engaged
I was
to,
gonna say.
to Bailey Ann Potter.
Yay.
Some of you might know her.
Yeah, very nice.
We're getting married February 19th
Woo!
at
Heck
the
yeah.
Elks in Franklin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's invited, right?
Yeah, so funny story about that is we got together and we sat down one night and we were like, okay, the Elks can only hold a max of 250 people, right? The two of us combined had like 1,200 people. So like we had to condense. So it's
Wow.
mostly family, but you know.
I can tell you guys, if you show up there, I will,
Good luck getting
I will
in. It's
rudely
gonna
tell
be-
you goodbye.
It's
Yeah.
gonna, it's gonna be packed.
Well, I'm a member there, so I'm just gonna swipe in.
There you
slide
go.
in.
There you go.
I'm standing at the door.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Good luck.
Good drink,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
There you go.
Good man.
Yeah.
Hey, man, thank you for bringing us these.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
We appreciate it.
So let's get into
absolutely.
this.
So this is for you guys. This here is for you.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
I'm
Yeah.
hoping as you have guests, like to have the common courtesy to maybe start the collection.
You know what?
to start-
Hey, did you guys hear that?
And adding to the Bourbon
He
Boys
is starting.
collection.
He is starting our first
Yeah.
collection.
Yeah, but you guys will take anything, right? It's not just bourbon.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
absolutely.
anything at
No.
all. Like maybe like
Anything.
a six-pack tall boy. It don't matter.
Yeah, very specific.
Come on.
You bring
Yeah,
six-
yeah.
All right,
Miller
boys.
latte.
Yeah.
The rules with that: if you bring a six-pack of tall boys for Caleb, you have to shotgun one with him.
Oh, I like that.
Right?
That's good.
No,
Yeah,
what?
that was the rule.
All right, fine. Okay,
Just
I'll
made that.
go with it. I'll go with
We
it.
just made it, yep.
So the bourbon that I brought today that I want to compare these to is Weller. This is like the very basic. It's called Special Reserve, but it's a very basic Weller. You can't find this very easily here in Indiana. You can find it, but you got to know people. People who own liquor stores, raffles, maybe a buddy who's got a hookup. People who drink bourbon will know what it is. People who are into bourbon, I guess I should say, will know what it is. So the Weller line is so popular because it is made by the same family that made Pappy Van Winkle. And you know, if you don't know about Pappy Van Winkle, you don't drink bourbon.
Yeah,
you just don't.
Just get out.
A little history behind Pappy. The reason Pappy is so popular is because it is the first, and it was popular way back when because it was the first bourbon made from wheat. And it was made from a special type of wheat. And it's so popular now, obviously, because it's so hard to find. But back then, it was because it was the first wheated bourbon. And people loved it. They went through a little hard spell, and they had to sell. Pappy had to sell his distillery. So when they sold that distillery, they sold it to a commercial brand, to a stockbroker. Of course, they got rid of the old recipe, and it's harder to make with wheat. Like the reason it was so popular is because they liked the taste. It was different taste from all the other bourbons. Right?
Okay.
So when they sold, they used a specific type of wheat that really worked for them, and that wheat is now somewhere, who knows where, and it may not even exist anymore. So
So what was it like to a specific like country or
I-
part
see,
of
I-
the world?
I don't know that specifically, but whatever this wheat did, the aging process that it went through when they were making this bourbon, aged great, like great, and the people way back when loved it. And now, obviously, since they sold and they can't make it with that certain type of wheat anymore because they can't find it. It's actually perfect you guys had me on when you did, because I just finished a book called Pappy Land.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect.
So it tells all about the Van Winkle's family heritage and history and how it all came to be and how it is today. So Weller was born out of the Van Winkles merged later on with another distillery.
Which, let me ask, where were the Van Winkles based out of?
Kentucky.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
really? Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So if it's bourbon, it has to be made in Kentucky. Bourbon
It has
has
to?
to be made in Kentucky, from my understanding.
Really?
Yeah, from my understanding, it has to. Now
You
that
got a monopoly on that. Jeez.
there's some stipulations where like, because there's a local brewery that's like, yeah, they sell bourbon, but it's like made in Indiana, and I don't know all the laws specifically to that, but most bourbons are made in. That's where all the bourbon trails in Kentucky.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So we did a little venture on that. We went to the Buffalo Trace Distillery, and like I was saying, this is hard to find around here. So anywhere on the market around here, you go to Big Red Liquors, wherever you got a special order, and they will charge you $60 to $90 a bottle for the Special Reserve. Special Reserve is good stuff. Honestly, it's not their greatest, but it is good.
Yeah.
It's very good. But if you go to the distillery, they're not allowed to mark up the prices. They got to do market price, so it's $30 a bottle. So at $30 a bottle, I was like, because my uncle, this is the first, I'm kind of going off track all over the place here. This is the first, the Weller's the first type of bourbon I had when I turned 21. Of course, we grew up drinking Jim Beam and not to shit on Evan Williams. We'll get to this one later, but the black label Evan Williams.
No disrespect.
You're right.
I think we all know.
And you gotta mix that with Coke, so it's like
a lot of special nights with this out boy.
Yeah.
With this brand.
So exactly. So you're like, ooh, well, I tried this and I was like, oh, it's warm. It kind of gives you that hug that you want out of a bourbon, And,
I love warm hugs.
Yeah, exactly. Especially in the winter time, sitting around the fire.
Okay, I can see. You just painted a beautiful picture.
Oh yeah, I try to do my best.
Man, that's
So
gonna be great.
exactly, I could sell bourbon maybe potentially.
I think we could. Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as
Anyone
it's
out
cold
there?
outside and there's a fire.
Yeah, exactly. Only during certain months. It's my part-time job.
Well, let's give this bad boy a try.
Yeah. So anyway, we went to the distillery, and it's $30 a bottle there because they can't mark it up. But you can only have, because it's so cheap, you can only have. Add a little more to yours.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Harry's been cheating. He's been
Right.
Sorry.
He loves
It's a
it.
big
I love
bourbon
it.
guy.
Yeah.
But you can only have one bottle per person every 3 months because it's so cheap there. Because they know that they can sell it to Big Reds a little higher, and
Yeah.
and they're gonna make their money off of it. So I got one, and my fiance who's sitting behind the camera, Bailey, she also got one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they scan your ID and they track after like every 3 months you finally get out of their system. So then you can go all the way back to the distillery and then buy another bottle.
Okay, so let me ask: is it always like? Do they always have it in stock, or do you just have to? Is it just
So-
like a guessing game?
So it is kind of like a guessing game. So if you talk to somebody there, Buffalo Trace does all kinds of famous brands now. They distill, besides the actual Buffalo Trace bottle, which is actually really good for a $30 bottle.
Yeah.
So they do all kinds. They do Blanton's. They do all that stuff. So on certain days of the week and certain weeks, they will only sell, unless you do the tasting, which the tastings are booked for like a year and a half right now.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Buffalo Trace. So I was trying to get us one because I wanted to go on one and try all the fancy
That sounds
bourbons,
awesome.
right? Yeah.
No,
So,
absolutely.
but
Did you book it?
no.
Uh,
we don't know what we're doing in a year and a half.
Yeah.
So like, I don't want to do that. but they on certain days, like one Thursday of this month, they'll have Blanton's. One Thursday they'll have Weller, and they have different types of Blantons, different types of Weller. They have Eagle Rare. I don't know if you guys heard of that. That's a big bourbon amongst the bourbon community.
We should probably get up on that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we will. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, give that a try, and I'll
absolutely.
explain.
Thank you.
Get a little bit of reading.
Yeah.
So, here we go.
Yeah, as you guys saw, I've been drinking. It's delicious. I do enjoy it.
Ooh.
It does have a very bold flavor to it.
That's
It's-
very smooth, though.
It is
That's
smooth.
very
It's-
smooth.
it's-
And
It
also,
really is.
everyone, please drink responsibly if you're drinking while you're watching this.
Always.
We all have safe rides home.
We encourage
We're
you
actually-
to drink while you're watching this, but
Yeah, responsibly
Be safe.
has loose guidelines.
Yeah, we're at Reed's place. I got to ride home.
Right
JK's
there.
got to ride, or
Right
Papa
there.
Bourbon's got to ride home.
That's right.
Bourbon.
yeah, the bourbon. No, we're not saying that. Actually, well, I'm leaving. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah. So with this stuff, so it's pretty good stuff, right?
Yeah.
So there's a
Good mix with Miller too. Golly.
Taste
That's what.
taste a good bourbon with Miller. Proud of
It's
us.
my baby.
You're starting something over there, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really pushing for it.
Mix them together. Mix the two together.
Yeah, just let's get it
A
rolling.
Weller Light.
Yeah. Hey,
They're
come
probably
on,
like,
guys.
come on.
That's a good start.
So there's a brother to this. A little history. So it's made by the Van Winkles. I kind of got off track earlier.
Yeah.
It's made by the Van Winkles. They went through some hardships. They merged the Weller name with the APH, and I can't remember the last half of that name, distillery, but they merged the two, and they came up with Stitzel Weller, and that was the distillery for a long time. And then that distillery kind of went under also, but they were making this type of bourbon, and it got bought out. Well, the Bullet, I don't know if you've heard Bullet
Yes,
bourbon.
yeah.
So
yeah.
Tommy Bullet, now I don't know, I believe he still owns that distillery, the Stitzel Weller distillery. But so Julian Van Winkle, who is Pappy's grandson, he's Julian Van Winkle Jr. His father actually merged the Stitzel Weller distillery together,
Okay.
and he has been so obsessed in this book Pappy Land, and they tell a little bit about him at the Buffalo Trace distillery as well. When you're kind of there, talking to folks. He has been so obsessed with getting back to that old flavor of Pappy Van Winkle. He's mixed and matched and outsourced and done this and that. The closest he said that he's ever gotten to the original Pappy flavor was Weller Antique 107. So before I read this book and all that, I tried the Antique 107. It is absolutely amazing. It's my favorite bourbon. I'm not a bourbon expert by any means, but I've tried.
He is the bourbon man, though. So.
Right on.
Yeah.
So, but I've tried several bourbons, and that by far, it's very warm. It's a higher proof, but it's very, very, very smooth, and it was good. And I've talked to people who've actually tried Pappy who are like, yeah, I don't really like it.
Really?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Pappy's isn't all it's ain't up to be, huh?
To some people, I've never actually tried a Pappy Van Winkle, like a 10-year or whatever. I've
So
tried
that's a pretty hard bottle to get a hold of. I would
That's
very,
like collectors.
and
It sounds like you
expensive.
gotta be like you gotta know.
drop some money.
very expensive. And anybody who's a bourbon drinker knows, like, you're looking at like $300 to $500, and if you do a 25-year, that's like $5,000.
So that's like
Wow.
you're drinking it once a year.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you have distinguished guests over, and you're like, yeah, because I have it, I'll crack it open, and
Yeah.
you better not mix that with anything. so
My
Going
God.
from $5,000 to how much was this bad boy?
yeah, so all that history being said behind the Weller name brand, right? I was introduced to a bourbon a few months ago. Of course, we stray away from Evan Williams because, right?
Wonderful nights.
College nights, whatever.
Yeah.
Mixed with Coke, not too much Evan Williams.
College nights.
College.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't go to college, just so you know. Anyway, they were like, hey, try this. And they didn't bring it out in the bottle. They just poured it in a glass. And, of course, me being me, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's bourbon, right? So I gave it a sip, and I'm like, wow, what is this? What is this, right? This is great. Very smooth. It's 100 proof. They told me all this. And it's Evan Williams. And I'm like, no, it's not. Well, he pulls it up on his phone and he brings out the bottle and it's 15. And of course, obviously, I brought this bottle's for you guys, so I brought them this bottle.
Thank you. Thanks for
And
doing this.
this bottle's anywhere from $15 to $17, as opposed to here in Indiana, 60 to 75 for this.
I just want you guys to know the bourbon man,
Papa Bourbon.
yeah, brought these, and there has to be a reason, right?
Yeah.
I'm actually pretty excited to
I'm very
to try
interested
that.
on
Yeah.
what the deal with this one is.
So no disrespect to Weller, in my opinion, it's 10% higher.
Okay.
I think it is smoother. Then so give this a try.
There's no way with Evan Williams.
I
There's
know.
no way.
So this way it was explained to
That's a
me
bold
is this
statement.
is like a
Consider.
starter bourbon. It's very cheap and it's very smooth, but at a very high proof. So give that a try. Compare it to the one you just drank and tell me what you think.
And no disrespect to Evan Williams. If
No,
any-
yeah,
if
no.
those-
In the
we just-
Midwest,
yeah.
that's country. You know, like growing
Yeah.
up in cornfields, like
Yeah.
that's what you drink, right? And if you drink too much of something like Fireball,
Whew.
sometimes you're not a fan.
I can tell you guys right now, I never drink much Fireball. It's absolutely like disgusting.
I've had too many
hate
bad
it.
nights with Fireball. I can't really do it a whole lot. No disrespect. It's rough for me.
Gross. It's gross.
Smoother, isn't it? There's like zero burn with that.
Wow.
Some people prefer the burn though every time. You're right. It's like corn.
No, that's
It's great.
wow.
For $15,
That's
or
amazing.
60 to we'll say 75.
Yeah, unless you get lucky.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
If you go to the distillery, $32 with some tax.
Honestly, if I'm walking into a store, I might choose that one.
15 to 17 bucks, man. It's
I
hard
mean,
to
the
beat.
price
It's
is
a
amazing.
whiskey.
And you guys can make fun of me for drinking my Miller after this and stuff, but I'm really pushing this. Okay, so
Hey, Miller Lite, we're always here for
I
you.
work for you guys.
Weller,
I love
we're always
you.
here for you as well. Everybody, we're always here for you.
I will say in the Midwest, Busch Light has it right now. So maybe you guys can get
Really?
Miller. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's why they do the corn. That's all the farmers and the.
Makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a Midwest beer. I used to work at CVS, and I would stock the shelves and help the beer guys. And we would stock it on Wednesday, and by Saturday night, when I'd get off work, there would be 1 or 2 cases of Busch Light left. And there would be like
Well,
15 to 20 cases.
Knowing that I work for a beer company, and I don't work for
There you
I was
Bush.
about to ask you that.
But,
who carries Busch Light?
Zinc does. But right now, I'll give it to them. They're doing very well. They have
Their marketing is.
their marketing's very well with that. I know online they had a contest where you could get a Busch Light, like LED light, and it had the corn stalk and
Yeah,
everything
I saw
on
that.
it. Yep. They got the big aluminum cans and everything for it. They're doing a very good job.
Well, they
Very
know
good.
their, I guess, fan base, their customer, right? The farmers and the.
Oh yeah.
Because Busch Light used to be a cheaper beer, right?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
Just like PBR.
I can. So both of those beers for me,
You're not there, yeah. Okay, well, I'll look this way.
You guys have this
So
conversation.
it used to be a cheaper beer. And
Yeah,
then
no.
It got their, I guess, their branding or whatever happened within those few years. It went from $15 for a 30 rack to now it's like $21. with
Yeah,
tax.
I know I wasn't crazy into Bush. Shout out Ham's Beer. I love you guys very much. Wonderful nights with y'all. I used to get a 30 rack for $11.
Okay.
And recently, like the company I work for, we distribute Ham's Beer, and it's hard to come by. It's been hard to
A
come by for
30
a little
rack?
while. Yeah.
Really?
You probably see
Our
the
Ham's
price
beer
of
is
that
hard to come by.
skyrocket.
Yeah,
That's
and I
crazy.
believe Bush is doing the same thing too. It's hard. It's cheaper beer, and everybody wants it right now. You know, it's hard times because of the Backstreet Boys reunion tour going on. I don't know if we're actually allowed to say what the issue is right now, but everyone knows what the issue is. So we're just gonna say the Backstreet Boys reunion tour is giving us issues.
And if you don't, you're screwed. So.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, no, it's been crazy. I've had a lot of people. I know a lot of other of our Miller Lite products, like Miller 64. We have issues getting Miller Genuine Draft. It's hard to get as well. It's just because that's what everybody's looking for right now.
It's crazy.
It's wild. It's
I
very
will
wild.
say, like, the design of their can looks insane. Like, it
It's
looks
super
pretty
cool.
cool.
It's
yeah.
very cool.
I mean, like, nothing against Miller Lite, like, that's iconic, but
Yeah.
you guys have had the same thing since I was born, I think.
But everybody loves it. You know. Love you guys. Love
Did you have a video, or did you? I'm sorry. Excuse
The
me.
video? Yeah, let me pull it up real quick.
Did you tell me that JK almost made you cry?
Dude, he almost whooped me to the ground, man.
No.
He waited for me outside the door.
No, that never happened. That never happened.
No, back in high school, I played soccer, so me and a couple soccer players thought we were being cool and funny, and we were just talking crap to each other across the room in our class. I think it was like study hall or whatever. Nobody cared. It was like finals week, you know. So we were talking crap, and Papa Bourbon over here was sitting by.
Bourbon!
Yeah, Papa Bourbon! He was sitting by another soccer player that wasn't really saying much. So I looked at him and was like, "Can I help you with something?" Because he kind of looked at me and smiled a little bit. And Papa Bourbon over here was like, "Yeah, actually, you can help me." And I was like, hey man, I was talking to him. I'm just messing with you, man. I was just.
I didn't know anything about this until I watched the last video.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
So we're cool now. We're straight.
Yeah,
Thank God.
I don't remember anything
Yeah.
about this.
I saw my life flash before my eyes that day, but we're cool now, so no worries.
Nothing would have came of it. I
No,
promise.
he's a great guy. I'm just
I
messing
wouldn't
around.
say I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah. There's a bit of a difference in our stature.
From my knowledge, you've never had aggressive bone like in your body.
Right.
It's just,
I've been told though in high school, and this is rumor, from my fiance that I was known in her grade as like the aggressive person.
Really?
Yeah, I know, right?
See, I think the thing was that I've never heard of. I at the time we didn't know each other,
What?
so I just was the fact that like a stockier guy that is twice my size.
Even though he's friends with
Yeah, even though I'm friends with Reed.
Reed's bigger than I am.
Yeah. Responded to a jokingly threat that I didn't think he was a part of. I was like, yeah, no, I don't want to be a part of that.
And if you knew me from high school, I was
Yeah.
to be respectful to you two. Better word is a class clown type of deal.
Yeah.
So, and I think that maybe
Why is it
because we were
Yeah.
good friends, you saw that side.
Yeah.
I was probably
mean,
kidding.
Yeah, no, I feel like he probably was going with the joke, but
I mean, he's never
For
gonna
me-
bully someone bigger than him.
that is true. That
A
is
bully
true.
that doesn't, yeah. You're right. I'm not a bully. All right?
Yeah, no. He was super cool about it. Nothing ended out that way. Like I'm pretty sure you laughed with me afterwards. We were all joking afterwards, so everything's all good. No big deal.
Yeah.
But anywho, everyone,
Yeah.
thank you very much for being a part of this. If I hear anyone ever say we don't have bourbon on the show when we're the Bourbon Boys, we're fist fighting.
Obviously, our first guest was awesome.
Hey, we got
Yeah.
to reveal the word though. We didn't reveal the word.
Oh man.
Yeah,
All
you
right,
guys.
guys.
I watched the video.
I was
You
trying.
guys
I
promised
was
them last week.
trying to avoid it, but here we go.
So the most controversial word ever. Bungalow goosemonger ER.
Oh.
Now, to those of you who know it, that's a real. Yeah, you know it. But to those who don't, I unfortunately can't inform you. We have to keep it sacred. It has to stay within the group.
You got to retell the story
the best.
of how you say it, and then I'll tell you how
Okay,
how
so-
it was.
Fill you guys in. We were back in high school, just chilling out. I think we maybe had one beer or two apiece.
Never. No.
And
Probably a Kool-Aid or two.
and I'd say it was midnight, 1 a.m. The room was pitch black. We were all trying to sleep, and I'm not sure between when I thought I was asleep and when Chris jumped on me what was said, but I think you said the actual word, and he jumped across what 7, 8 people in my face and just started screaming at me. To this day, I don't know why it made him so mad. To this day,
I don't remember saying the word, but I do remember he was walking through and he was getting a water or something. This was like 3 in the morning. I'm half asleep. And
So
you're
obviously, yeah, our hours are
I'm on the
way off.
floor.
Kool-Aid is insane.
Next, yeah, Kool-Aid. Yeah, Kool-Aid. Fucking watermelon Kool-Aid.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, so I'm on the floor and you're on the couch, and he walked through getting water, and I don't know if he heard. I don't think I said a word, but he's on the couch, and Chris hears something, right? So he jumps. He literally jumped 8 people laying on the floor, jumps and lands right next to Reed, gets in his face, starts screaming. Reed just boom blurts it out. I laughed for 2.5 hours, and the whole next week I was like, I had to ask him like Monday, the next following Monday at school, like, what did you say? Why did you say it, and what does it mean? Passing period, he's like, I'll get back to you on that, right? So
Yeah.
I see him, I'm like, bro, like, what is that? Next passing period, he's like, this is what it means, and I'm like, oh. So, legendary word. It's in the dictionary now. It is what it is.
We created it, so
Yeah.
don't use our word.
Yeah, you can't. If you're
Yeah.
not in the group, don't use it.
Don't use it. On that note, guys, we appreciate it. Thank you for all the love and support always. Thank you so
Like,
much.
subscribe, find that bell that we haven't found yet, comment.
I think it's at the top. You said top right over here.
I have no
Somewhere?
idea. That's the X button. That
See, if
was-
we're good at editing, we're like, hey, click here, click.
Well, we're not. So, everyone, you have a great day.
We appreciate it, guys. Be nice to
Papa
somebody.
Bourbon, thank you so
Hey,
much for coming
I
on. Thanks
appreciate
for the
you guys.
bottle.
Yeah,
Amazing.
absolutely.
That was
Appreciate the
crazy.
invite, guys. It was very
Hey.
enjoyable. Thank you.
We appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. See you.
That's all right.
Okay.